All right, welcome back. This is CSIS 2200. This is part number 3. We're talking about chapter number 11, which is talking about enterprise programs, enterprise systems, or ERPs, enterprise resource programs. All right, we left off talking about online auctions, and we talked about this as well a little bit in the e-commerce. They bring it up again here because we're talking about how ERPs working with the internet and how it's impacted. Online auctions is another example of how, of course, the online internet has impacted industries, especially with the auctions business. If I asked you guys if you knew of an online auction, you might think of something like eBay, which eBay is one of the first large major consumer-to-consumer auction websites out there. But there are lots of online auction sites, and one I would like to actually mention to you guys because it's a great company in Vancouver here. It's called Ritchie Brothers. All right, let's have a look at their website. So if you take a look at Ritchie Brothers Auction, the reason I'm showing you guys this is it's a Vancouver-based company. It's a global company, multinational. It's got presence, company offices around the world, and they have auctions for large industrial equipment around the world. It's one of the top 100 companies in British Columbia to work for. It's one of our co-op companies. They have hired a lot of our students, and they use a variety of different managing information systems. I think their ERP system they're using is SAP. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing it up is the slides talking about how auctions and what the internet has done from a global aspect is when you're selling equipment, you may want to buy equipment in different countries because it's cheaper or it's at the location that you need it. And a company like Ritchie Brothers provides this for companies. And again, this would really be a company-to-company auction. This is not a C2C auction like eBay. You wouldn't be, auctioning off a large construction equipment or farming equipment in different locations around the world. Anyways, this is a great company. Keep track of this one. I would encourage students to even look for their job postings because this is one. I've got a couple of friends that work at this company, and it's a good one to definitely to work at. All right, so that's a little bit on that global online auctions. Of course, if you've got an online auction, it's easier to sell more goods, than a regular auction because you're only restricted to the physical location. Now you've got a global market. So that means you can sell probably at a higher price and you're more competitive, making it better for the seller and the buyer. It's based on a broker business model because the brokers are basically selling it and the customers are buying it. Cost effective for selling excessive inventory. If you got a major construction site that you're finished your construction, you want to sell all the equipment, you don't want to basically part it out or move it, you can just sell it in place. A lot of advantages for this new model. Again, you got a global market. Mannheim is another one. I've actually used Mannheim. I've used Ritchie Brothers as well, but I've used Mannheim. Mannheim is a car auction site. I have a friend who has an account with these guys, and they gave me their account to buy a car. I ended up buying a car in Phoenix, Arizona, and it was an auction that was going through down there. I was in Canada, and I was watching it online, and I didn't even see the car. I just read through all the specs, and I was bidding on it, and the auction lasted 60 seconds to buy a reasonably expensive car. And then I flew down to pick it up, and then I drove it home. So kind of another interesting concept is in the car market. All right, another model using auctions is kind of an interest one, this reverse auctions, or an example of this one I think I'd like to show you is something like this company called Upwork. If you haven't heard of this, check out this website. Upwork allows individuals to basically post themselves online for companies to hire. And you can also put jobs on here. So let's say somebody wants to build a house, so they need an architect. They can talk about what kind of house they want to build, but then multiple architects will then bid on that job, and then they'll get hired. You can also post, if you have a special skill or a particular ability, you can post your own position, and then companies can bid on you. So they can look through your profile, they can look through your rating, they can look at your academic achievements. All this gets vetted, and they don't really care where you live because it's all done online, which is quite interesting. And this is something that I've had some students do, is they've actually posted and they've actually done freelance work on the internet. So sometimes you hear people working online and they travel the world or they live in other countries. This is one way that they do that, is they can use a company called Upworks. Another one is called Freelancer. Freelancer, I think, is another one, .com. And Freelancer allows you to hire the best freelancer for any job online. So if you need something designed, you can post your requirements, and then people from around the world can bid on that job. So you can post a job and you can literally get dozens of people bidding on it and telling you what they will do for you at what price. And what happens is a lot of companies now are starting to use this because they don't have the expertise of a particular area. They will just hire it out to a freelancer or an Upwork person to fill that need. Now, it's kind of nice because you don't have to work for a particular company, but the other thing is these are contractual and they only last a fixed amount of time. So there's no longevity to it. But it's just another option that the internet has provided in sort of online auctioning of your services, if you will. All right, just a quick note on 3D printing and advanced prototyping. These are machines that will make a one-off, sort of an adaptive manufacturing. This thing that's supposed to be adaptive manufacturing, making an object from a digital model. So, like I think I even mentioned in this chapter already, what can happen is if you need a product that they can manufacture using a CNC machine or a 3D printing machine using different materials, you can actually have a three-dimensional AutoCAD file sent, printed at the location where it's needed, and then used. So there's no shipping involved. So how does that impact a supply chain management? Well, it can have a major role. It can have a major impact because now you're no longer shipping the actual product. You're only, the customer's only requesting the product to be printed or manufactured at the location where the customer is. It can have, or it may have, a tremendous impact on how supply chain works. It could reduce supply chain down from 6 basic levels to 5 or maybe even 4 levels. So this 3D printing came out about 5 to 10 years ago, had a lot of promise, but again, the technology was so far ahead that other technologies really haven't caught up to it yet and how to adapt it. There is lots of things that they're doing with 3D printing now. For example, they're manufacturing homes using it, which sounds absolutely crazy. They're actually scaffolding to manufacture organs. I know that sounds very bizarre, but there's all sorts of things that are coming out with this technology. But when it comes to supply chain, they can manufacture the product at the location of the customer, basically reducing the logistics of transporting the materials and the product to the customer. So of course it would significantly reduce the manufacturing time because it's done on site. I mean, think about it. If you can send a file, you can customize the file. If you can make it a one-off, you can customize it to your own thing. So the customer would have a tremendous way of modifying the product even more so to their needs. I mean, you can imagine if they had a company in Vancouver that could manufacture shoes in a 3D printing way, you could just send a file of your preferred purchase of a shoe and they could manufacture it at a machine and then you just go pick it up locally. So of course that would eliminate the need for carrying any inventory. So you could see how this could impact the future, and you probably might think, oh, that could never happen. Well, In my short career, I've said so many times, well, that'll never happen, and sure enough, it happened. So I don't count anything out anymore. There's been lots of technologies that have emerged that have failed, but that's not always the case. I do think that 3D printing does have a future. I'm not sure if they'll ever get to this kind of state where they can replicate anything, like basically have like a refrigerator size appliance, and you could just manufacture anything inside of it. I don't know if that'll happen in the near future, but I'm not counting it out. I mean, this technology would absolutely disrupt supply chain management in such a significant way. Companies would love to do this. So there's a lot of money behind this. You're not dealing with 2-day delivery or 3-day delivery or whatever. You're manufacturing it, you pick it up just like you would go to a store to pick it up. It's custom designed. There's no waste of materials. It's extremely efficient. There's less manpower. It's cheaper cost. I mean, all these things are like the buzzwords that every business wants to hear. So this is the holy grail of supply chain management, is to perfect 3D printing and advanced prototyping. I can't help myself. I got to just show the future as they put in movies. You might have seen Star Trek, and they've got this machine where they basically code in whatever they want, and it replicates it in front of them. So they'd have to be building this at an atomic level, I'm sure, at the atom level to get to this type of sophistication. I mean, we're nowhere near that, but I've seen how technology has advanced over time, and it's been amazing. So I don't count this kind of stuff out. But if they develop the technology, basically supply chains would be virtually over. A really interesting development that's occurred in the past 5 years is drones and robotics in the way of supply chain. Amazon is using these drones for doing certain types of drops for parcel delivery. Drones are used for other sorts of checking supply lines for transmission distribution, for providing food, spraying crops, or they've got something now where they have robots stocking shelves like a human would. And this video right here, if you haven't seen this with Boston Dynamics, and this is a few years old now, they've got a robot that's very human-like that does things that a warehouse worker could do, which is scary and exciting, I think, at the same time, what they can do with these. So these robots are designed to do kind of specific tasks right now, but they are becoming more ubiquitous, where they can kind of go wherever they want and do more and more things. So how's this technology going to disrupt supply chain management? Well, you can already see it. I mean, products can be delivered. They can be counted on a system. They can be, crops can be sprayed without human intervention. They can probably, see the temperature over a particular field for insect control. So there's so many, advantages that drones or robots are going to have, and how it's going to impact the supply chain. I mean, just manufacturing alone, we've seen in automobile industry, they can manufacture a car using robots, and that's drastically improved the supply chain for manufacturing all sorts of products. I found this was an interesting one, like the supply chain of eating meat, for example, like from producing a cow to getting onto your plate. They're using robots for herding cows now. So before, they used to send people out on horses. The horses, they would round them up with, cowboys would round them up with horses. That's being replaced now with drones. Drones are flown around. They locate cows and they herd them together and bring them back to the farm. All right, let's look at the customer relationship management, or CRM. For those of you that are in marketing, customer relations, even human relations, this is an area that you might want to select for finding your MIS project. Customer relationship management, is that process that companies use to track and organize and contact or keep contact with their customers. It's the sales aspect. It's the sale and the after sale service of a product. So if you're looking for an MIS in this area, one that I would recommend looking at is this one right here. Salesforce is probably one of the most commonly used CRM, software as a service, managing information systems used in businesses today. They claim that they're the world's #1 CRM platform. This is a platform that you guys can sign up and create a demo account, and you guys can learn more about how you can work with the supply chain, how you can work with your customers, in the procurement customers and the sales of a product customers. You can look at customers in a B2B model or a B2C model, and also all sorts of different other aspects to this. This is I think a good one to learn. If you guys were looking online to see how many jobs require the Salesforce, let's have a look at it in Indeed. All right, here I am in Indeed. I typed in Salesforce. Currently, there's 11 jobs that require the actual product, the actual managing information system of Salesforce in their job. But over here, this is a very important area, relative or recent searches that are in the same area. Zoho is another product that's used out there. There's 2 new jobs in that area, but there's 45 new jobs posted for people that need to know how a CRM works. So they need customer experience representatives, consultants. These are all the different jobs that would use this type of product. Anyways, I know I tend to gravitate to this a lot, but that's really because I want you guys to start thinking about what you're going to be doing for your MIS research project. All right, let's get back to the slides. So what does CRM do? Well, it improves the service that you're offering to your customers. It's better communication, better information to your customers, better product to what they need and what they're looking for to make them more profitable in their own business or what they're looking for. So that's really the ultimate goal of what a CRM is out there to do, is to track and target the right people to do the sales. And of course, the company would benefit by making sales, and the customer benefits by getting the best possible information or product. CRMs, they also have marketing strategies. You hear a lot about this, marketing strategies, their long-term strategy, building relationships with their customers. So one thing that we see a lot as consumers on our end is these CRMs can help identify customers in different categories and loyalty. And sometimes they have loyalty programs. You see this a lot more and more now, these loyalty programs. So if you go back to the same company, they give you points or they give you some kind of a benefit if you keep coming back. You want to keep that relationship with the customer ongoing, and they can do that through different ways. Loyalty programs is definitely one. So the ultimate goal is to improve their customer retention. They want to hold that customer. They don't want to lose a customer, because the customer might come back, customer might refer another customer. In fact, a lot of times you'll see in these loyalty programs or in these customer relationship programs or goals is they say, if you recommend a friend to us, then we will give you something. So I just got an email the other day from my ISP, and they said if I recommend somebody to join their internet service provider, they will give me a $25 voucher. So they're actually making their customers now the salespeople, which is really clever, and it's a win-win situation. If you really truly believe that that service or product is good, I have no problem recommending it. So they also do this a lot with rating systems. You see a lot of 5-star ratings or thumb up or thumb down, Yelp. There's all sorts of these customer relationship systems for asking a peer-to-peer, which to me means a lot. Do you trust the company telling you they have a good product, or do you trust hundreds of customers who've weighed in and said they've had a great experience with this? Of course, you want to listen to other peers, the customers, and what they've said. It also encourages me to also provide good feedback. If I got a good product, I tend to leave good feedback. If I get a bad product, I tend to leave not as favorable of a review. I try to be as honest and precise as I can. So again, if you're in marketing and you want to focus in on your CRM as your project. What are some of the areas that you can specialize in? Well, these CRMs, they kind of focus in on sales automation. They want to automate the selling process, so they put up online, they put up a picture. All you have to do is pick the product you want, the color you want, the number of products. It tells you what it's going to cost, when you're going to. It's automated, so they don't even need really a person to sell a product, because this has been really provided as in the system itself, in the website. They have these in the e-commerce site. They've automated the sales automation. Order processing, again, it's been automated. To order and to process it to a big extent is automated. I shouldn't say that, because sometimes the company will still have to package and ship it to the customer. Marketing automation, again, that can be done through advertising for marketing, and a lot of this stuff just gets disseminated on people's computers who are interested in those types of products. So our data is constantly being harvested. These companies are looking at our data saying, oh, this person, it profiles around this type of personality. We will try to automate and sell them a particular type of product. Customer support has also been automated in so many aspects. They have these kind of bots now that you can talk to, and they kind of come back with responses. I think they're kind of somewhat problematic. I've used them a couple times and without much success with them. I still like talking to a person, but I've talked to people too, and I've had very limited customer support as well. Not always. I mean, sometimes I do get satisfied with a concern that I might have. Knowledge management is another area, and it kind of falls under the customer relationship, because you're providing information to the customer in a knowledge management system. Sometimes you'll see this as frequently asked questions. So we've all seen frequently asked questions. That's kind of a knowledge management area. As people have a question, they will post it up there, and then they'll have people who respond to it. And this is a great way. And it's a peer-to-peer sometimes, where you'll post a question and someone will say, oh, I've had the same problem and this is how I fixed it. So that's a great way of creating a knowledge management system, but there's many other ones out there. Like all managing information systems, a CRM is no different really as an application. It can be implemented as an on-premise customer relation management software application based. These are programs that you can buy, install on your computer, on your premise, and run it. Or, and this is what I would encourage you guys to start looking at, is the web-based customer relation management, which is software as a service based. It's a SaaS. So a SaaS is the software is being delivered through the cloud. It's being processed on the cloud. If you look at this company here that I had before, which was, where is it here? I think it was the Salesforce. There we go. If you go back to Salesforce, this is a SaaS. This is a web-based CRM. It's delivered on the cloud. You don't have to install it. It's available all the time online. So this is kind of, I think, the way things are going. And if you read through my assignment, your research project, it has to be done as a software as a service. So I wouldn't recommend that you guys do an on-premise one, but if you really want to, because maybe you know a company that uses it, I wouldn't have a problem with that either. All right. If you did want to do the on-premise site, there are here's some examples. These are very large. They're not all large, and some of these I don't even recognize. SAP, of course, that's a module within the ERP, the enterprise system of the SAP, is one of their managing information systems, is the customer relationship management. I know all these acronyms. I mean, you start talking in acronym sentences, almost in acronyms eventually. Oracle has another CRM, and that's you actually buy that. It's a software application based system right there. Like I said, if you wanted to do with software as a service or a web-based one, Salesforce is probably the largest on the market, the most subscribed to. especially in the United States. Here in Canada, I'm not sure. I haven't done any recent looking this up recently to see who's the number one here. Here's another one called CRM, which is just probably electronic customer relationship management, or it's a web-based system. All right, so there's they also incorporate a survey management component because they're surveying their customers. Sometimes you guys might get a survey. I just got one in the mail the other day, asked me to log in and do a survey. I get these regularly. They want information from their customers. They want to create that connection, the relationship. How are you feeling? What did you like? What did you not like? How can we make it better? I know there's in some businesses, companies, they have people that are dedicated to just collecting this type of stuff in their marketing department. All right, looks like I ran over my time again. I'm on a streak here. All right, so anyway, that's ending part 3. So I'll see you guys in part number 4.